and fully vaccinated, I would admire the unvaccinated for withstanding the greatest pressure I've ever seen. From partners, parents, children, friends, colleagues, and even doctors. People who are capable of such personality, courage, and critical ability are undoubtedly the best part of humanity. They are everywhere, in all ages, levels of education, states, and ideas. They are of a special kind. They are the soldiers that every army of light wants to have in its ranks. They are the parent that every child wants to have, and the children that every parent dreams of having. They are beings above the average of their societies. They are the essence of the people who have, built all cultures and conquered horizons. They are there, next to you. They look normal, but they are superheroes. They did what others could not. They were the tree that withstood the hurricane of insults, discrimination, and social exclusion. And they did it because they thought they were alone. And they believed that, they were the only ones. Banned from their families' tables at Christmas, they never saw anything so cruel. They lost their jobs, let their careers sink, had no more money, but they didn't care. They suffered immeasurable discrimination, denunciation, betrayal, and humiliation, but they kept on going. Never before in humanity has there been such a casting. Now, we all know who are the best on the planet Earth. Men, women, young, old, rich, poor, of all races or religions, the unvaccinated, the chosen of the invisible ark, the only ones who managed to resist when everything collapsed. That's you. You passed an unimaginable test that many of the toughest Marines, commandos, Green Berets, astronauts, and even geniuses could not withstand. You are made of the stuff of the greatest who ever lived. Those heroes born among ordinary men who glow in the dark. Remember, you're the voice, and it's time to make it count. I'm Brad Wilder. Thanks for watching. This is Wake Up Canada News. Till next time.
Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Harakakadash. We're saying double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Well said speech. I do like that. And what he's highlighting something in particular, something that's going to be considered the most precious gift to have, and that is faith. Everything he was describing, the courage to be able to withstand all the insults and shaming from both jobs, family, friends, and those close to you, and even be considered outsider or outcasted because of your refusal to comply. That's something really good to rejoice over, because it means that you have faith, and your faith should be in Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. You have the courage to look the devil in the eye and say, I'm not going for it. And no amount of peer pressure from family, friends, or even the risk of losing something I worked hard for, maybe your livelihood or whatever the case is going to stop me from believing in my Lord and going in faith. The book of Sirach 22, verse 16, it says, as timber girt and bound together in a building cannot be loosed with shaking, so the heart that is established by a wise counsel shall fear at no time. And that's the heart of the believers. The advised counsel is the scriptures. The advised counsel is the scriptures where it says to have faith in our Lord. The point of the Bible, what's the point of these scriptures? What's the point of these testimonies? It's that you can learn from it. That's why it's here. And when you learn from it, it isn't just something to just say, oh, look, there's a Bible with stories and scriptures and proverbs, and we just use it whenever there's some right things in there, and I guess we could just use it whenever we feel like it. The true essence of the Bible is to build up your faith, because there is a day appointed where the Lord is going to judge the earth. And it's prophesied that up until those days, there are going to be evil and hard times, such as what we experience through the pandemic. And the stories and the Proverbs and the Psalms and it's to build up your faith so that you may be able to withstand in the day. This book isn't just a book, I just go to it whenever I feel low, and it can give me some motivation, some exhortation to get back up. Yeah, it all has that. Yes, it has knowledge as of how to deal with women. Yes, it has knowledge on how to handle money, has knowledge on how to avoid foolish situations. And it also has wisdom and knowledge on how to avoid dangerous situations. And it also teaches you to, helps you abide by any situation that you're in. It helps you be comfortable with a lower state. And it even tells you how to manage and how to be level-headed when the Lord exalts you to a little higher state. So it's keeping you to keep balance and not to, as the scripture say, a poor, mean estate, right? And don't think because you're losing in the flesh that you're losing in the Lord. A lot of it actually teaches you about sacrifice. So it teaches you how to build up your faith so that when situations arise, you can resort back to those scriptures, those stories to say, I've seen this, my ancestors been through the same situation, and they also suffered wrongfully. They also were outcasted. They also were uh, railed on by society, railed on for being liars, for being rebellious, for being so-called, I'm not gonna say the word, but um, problem makers. Yeah, and today those same people were considered unjabbed. And but you know what happened? Those men in the scriptures, they had faith, and in the end, they prospered. So as I believe it was Romans 12, Romans 15:4, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. So that we might have hope. This is what the book of here is for. And this is what we do. We believe it. Okay. Going back to that Sirach 22. Read again. As timber girt and bound together in the building cannot be loosed with shaking, so the heart that is established by advised counsel shall fear at no time. A heart settled upon the thought of understanding is as a fair plastering on the wall of a gallery. Pails set on a high place will never stand against the wind. So a fearful heart in the imagination of a fool cannot stand against any fear. So you see, the two, because, one of the first things he said was, you were the tree that withstood all the slanders and insults from all the winds, right? Because the goal is to stand firm, as Yahweh Shai spoke about being a house built upon a rock, whereas the fools who built the house upon sand. And people who build the house upon sand, you can look it up, it comes with ease of use. It's very easy to do. It doesn't require any, actual thinking skill. Not when I say thinking skills, I mean planning skills. It's just very easy to do. And it seems like if you don't have any understanding, oh, we'll just do it this way. You know what I mean, look how easy it is. And it's understand what's the worst that can happen. And you're not planning for the unexpected, the tides to shift, the wind to pick up, the storms, and all of that hard work could soon be thrown down. But the man who took the time to measure out his foundation and actually calculate decide where it is that his foundation is going to be, which is going to be upon that rock, though it may take some work, He's investing in the future of it, the latter end of it, the longevity of it. And then he says, okay, now I will build my house. Okay, but he went through the straight gate. He didn't take the easy path, the broad path. See, the broad path tells you comply, fall in line, right? Matthew 7:13, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. So what does he mean? The word straight goes into narrow, meaning what? You're gonna have to be on your toes, right? You're gonna have to be, not, you could say, is it shimmying on the path? So you're gonna be in straight situations and predicaments often, right? Which means you're gonna be observing that the broad way leads to death, and the straight way, which the scriptures talk about how left is on fire and the right hand is full of water, and how the straight and narrow path is how you're going to get to that goal. Yeah, that's a part of suffering. That's a part of being labeled people who, because they were saying the people who refuse that jab don't deserve to live. They were saying, like, you don't deserve to go outside, right? You don't deserve to live like a human being. If you can't show your status, you can't go in the store. That's what they were doing. It was one of the most, you could say, impactful situations that everyone had to experience, and those who chose to comply, right? A lot of them did it out of fear. They threw all their knowledge that they knew of how medicines work and safety, they threw it all out the way, all because they lacked faith. They were fearful. So their thing was to just comply, go into the broad gate, abandon all sense of thought and morale, and just comply. I see other people doing it, and I want to be secure myself, so I want to do it. But that's how the devil got you, because in 1 year, you were praised as a hero for working through it, for the people who had to work. And then the following year, you deserve to lose your job because you refuse to take it. You're putting people's lives at risk. That's how easy the devil can manipulate the situation. His tongue. So in 1 year, the hero, the next year, you're the villain. And you deserve to lose your job because you're putting everybody's lives at stake. You went the Broadway. A lot of people went the Broadway, and you had Israelites teaching to go to Broadway, which is what? Comply. At the face of any threat or danger, just fall in line. Don't listen. Don't rely on faith. That's what they told you. They are those pales set on a high place that will in no wise stand in any time. Why? Because they lack the faith. And only you see now, years later, where now nobody even wants to talk about it. Why? Because what they thought was the end all be all, and them complying, the devil has showed them that they were gotten. He got you. And those who withstood and had faith, I liked everything that man said. He was like, man, you guys are basically just the best people on the planet. Because what he realized is a lot of people who withstood that, like I said, had faith. And at least the decency say, oh no. And that means that they are willing, right, to tell the devil to his face, no. And the earth doesn't have faith. The earth is really about to lack faith, as Yahushua said. And that's why the devil, he can't allow that, because what he's coming with, he's going to do this again. But as the scriptures prophesy in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16 on down, he's coming with a mark. And he's going to do the same thing, but worse, because at this time, He's already going to establish and close off all loose ends. That mark is going to be the marker, that RFID microchip, which they're going to want to implant in your right hand, your forehead, and your body. And at that point, that's when they have complete control over you. But prior to that, they have to go ahead and set up the centralized banking so they can then close off all loose ends and angles of which someone may refuse to comply. Because if cash is done away with and all you have is your digital currency and everything is monitored and controlled by the central bank, now they have you where exactly where they want you, because now they can just shut off your money supply, and they know at most people can't survive, and that's going to be the real test. And Yahushua, the book, Yahushua, his words, the prophets, the books, it's all to get you ready to withstand that day. That day. That's what this book's about. That's what it all boils down to. It does not matter how much knowledge you have, how much of a celebrity you are in the land of Israel, how much people love to hear you. You a good debater. Everybody knows that when this brother debate them black conscious communities, he gonna get all that fancy stuff. Means nothing when the time of trouble and tribulation arises and you fold like a cheap lawn chair. It means nothing when they bring that chip and you're going to go right along and take that chip because you lack faith. You didn't build your house upon a rock. To you, going the broad and narrow, which is to comply and just fall in line, is safe because you're trying to secure yourself. And you don't want to be looked at as different. But you see that in the long run, those who did withstood gets to rejoice, and those who fell in line are pricked in the heart. A lot of them don't even want to even think about it because they don't want to, because they're saying, I just made this decision because out of fear. And now you guys are basically telling me that the same people who I looked at as troublemakers, and I'll say that they deserve to lose their job, you're telling me that really they were the ones that did the right thing. If we go to Luke 21, verse 36. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. What day is that? The day of wrath. Book of Acts. I believe it's Acts 13. Yes. Acts 17, verse 31, is Paul speaking. Because he hath appointed a day in the which he will judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he hath ordained, whereof he hath given assurance unto all men, in that he hath raised him from the dead. So there's a day appointed where he's going to bring judgment. Up until that point, there's going to be hard and troublesome times. Just like what you faced during the pandemic, it's going to come back again. The scriptures refer to it as the hour of temptation. That's the hour. That time is going to be that time where you are going to be faced with a decision to either fall in line and take that chip and be just like the sheep as everybody else, and bow yourself unto Satan and give him complete control over your body, and yield your future, you yield yourself to Satan to say, fine, you win. You have control over me. You have control of my body. I'll give my soul to you, because that's what you're doing. Without you knowing, that's what you're doing. You are willingly subjecting yourself as a conscious decision to become a servant of the devil forever in his eyes. or you're going to have the faith to say, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to eat. I don't know how I'm going to supply for my family. But I know one thing, I'm not taking this trip because I believe in your words, and I believe that this is the mark of the beast. And I fear you, and I will go all the way to the end with my life. And I put my faith in you, and I'm willing to lose everything. You know, my wife went there and took it, Lord, so I can't, nothing I could do for her. My children took it, Lord, and nothing I could do for them. You know, I'm not doing it though. I have faith in you. The Lord said you're going to be taken care of. Why? Because you believe, right? In his words, you believe was coming to pass. And that's how simple it is. You just have to believe. But as you can see, faith is scarce. Even Yahushua himself said, shall there be faith found in the earth? That little pre-run was just a pre-run. It was just a pre-run. But it's going to happen again. So those who stood on faith, right? Like I can speak for myself. I basically lost my job because of it. They made it so hard for me to function that I said, you know, fuck this. I just went in faith, prayed to the Lord, and guess what? My situation got better. Some brothers never had to lose anything. Some brothers lost and they brought them right back. Why? Because they had to bring them back on their jobs. Where it was a requirement to get it before it got, now it's no longer a requirement. So what says that to all the people who took it to keep their job? See? So indeed, you know, you should feel good, you know, if you had the courage and the faith to withstand this devil and say no. Because at the end of the day, you came out on top, you're still here, and you're still whole. See? So with that, shalom.